Hello everyone and welcome to this Tech Ability webinar on Lightkey text prediction software. We're joined today by James Wright, who's product specialist from Aventido. So thanks for joining us, James. Over to you.
Fantastic. Well, as mentioned, today we're going to be talking a bit about Lightkey, which is, in a nutshell, a text prediction, spelling, and grammar correction software. It's powered by a unique form of artificial intelligence where it actually learns from you, the user, learns your vocabulary, learns your jargon, and even learns your writing style over time. So simultaneously, it provides real-time spelling and grammar corrections and works across 80 plus different languages. Something important to note about Lightkey as well is it is offline, doesn't need an internet connection to work. It's also, we take your data privacy extremely seriously. Lightkey do not collect any data or any content from you. It's only stored locally as well. If I actually just share my screen, start showing you a little bit of Lightkey in action. I'm going to start within a Word document, but you can use Lightkey anywhere. So you can use it within Word, you can use it within Chrome, any other applications that you work with. I'm going to start with arguably the simple stuff, spelling and grammar. So Lightkey is trained from day one in various methods of spelling and grammar. If I write, let's say, the bureaucracy in Mississippi, I think two spellings that we would all struggle with, let alone someone with dyslexia. As you can see, it's popped up with a correction suggestion. Now, the interesting thing about Lightkey, it's not an auto-correction software. It's not going to change it. You have to decide whether contextually that's what you intended to write. It gives you obviously full accountability, but also full control over your own writing as well. To do this, you either hit Tab, Enter, or the right arrow, depending on how you set up your Lightkey. We generally recommend Tab. It's just a really natural and organic way of writing. We just hit that, it'll go back, it'll make that correction for us very easily. A very common typical dyslexic style of spelling is perhaps phonetic. So we can spell phonetic. And again, it'll just give us a potential correction. We have to decide whether that's correct, and we just hit Tab to accept that. It can do multiple things simultaneously, so it doesn't just have to do one spelling or one piece of grammar at a time. You can just continue writing. And it will come up with those predictions. So it can come up with multiple correction predictions for you. So as you can see in this example, it's corrected don't to doesn't. And I don't know if you actually noticed, but the word autocorrection corrected don't to don't, unfortunately just making sure it's grammatically correct, which is an issue with autocorrection softwares. It's done spelling corrections and it's even removed the apostrophe from it. So it does multiple things simultaneously. Once you're happy, again, we'll just hit Tab to accept all those predictions. Another example might be British versus American English as well. So it's trained in both versions for both areas. So we can say what color is the wall. And it will go back, and it will go back as far as necessary to make a correction. In a sense, it uses the sentence structure, the context of what you're writing. As I said, it's powered by a very unique form of artificial intelligence, not an artificial intelligence that takes from ChatGPT or some external source. It's learning from you, it's understanding context. So in a sense, it uses sentence structure. It's very good for, say, those words that can trip up dyslexic users, homophones, there, and there, whether and whether, for instance. You can see it'll just go back, make that correction. So it uses that sentence structure, as I just mentioned, to identify that mistake, and it'll go back as far as necessary. The idea behind all this spelling and grammar within Lightkey is to help the user keep moving forward, rather than having to stop, start a million different times. You'll notice it does give a single prediction and a single correction. This is all tailored to help the user's cognitive focus keep on moving forward when writing. Again, just hit Tab to accept that. Now, a cool little thing about Lightkey, not many people actually know this, but there is actually an inbuilt calculator as well. So this is a really small thing, but if you imagine a student with distractibility difficulties, can't be leaving their document, opening up a separate maths or calculator app, can't be whipping out your phone in the middle of your classroom, for instance, to use a calculator on there. You can just do everything then and there directly within your document. We hit equals, that'll give us a prediction calculation. Then again, just hit tab to accept that. This can actually be quite complicated. So just one thing to note is it is an asterisk for times and a forward slash for divide. Again, accidentally click there. Get equals, give us that calculation for us. Hit tab to accept that. Along this same thread, you can also train your Lightkey to memorize, say, long series of numbers, such as your telephone or important series of digits that could be useful within your Lightkey. So this uses that sort of method of text predictions. So let's say I write my number. I write this a few times. As you can see, it can memorize a long series of numbers within the system. Just to reiterate, we do not collect any user data or any user content. It's only stored on your device. We don't take anything from you. So a lot of people I know do use this to memorize their phone number. So it could be useful for those with, say, dyscalculia as well as a method. So that's maths, spelling, and grammar. Obviously, the main thing, the whole title of this presentation is text prediction. Lightkey is a text prediction software that learns from you. The first example is just something that I've written before in the past. It's just a paragraph, and you'll just see it start predicting, and then I'll sort of show you how it learns to do that. So if I write many students with, and you'll see these predictions are just appearing. I'm just going to be hitting tab as these appear. These can be single words, these can be multiple words or individual words. Writing fluency. You can see it's giving me these full sentence predictions here very, very easily. Assistive technology. Developed to improve writing speed and accuracy is text prediction software. As you can see, it's able to give these very smart text predictions based on the context of that sentence, what I'm writing, to give accurate text predictions quite early on. So in a lot of those cases, I had to hit the first letter, the first two letters, and it's giving me that sort of word or multi-word prediction. And then I have to either accept that or just continue writing. Do not accept that. And it uses a process within its AI called sentence learning. So again, it learns your writing style, it learns your unique vocabulary, your jargon, the subjects that you're working within. Can learn sentences up to 18 words, including the punctuation. I'm going to write a sentence. I'm going to write that multiple times. And you're going to see each time I write it, it gets a little closer to that entire sentence. I'm going to write that the spaceship went into orbit. You can see on that second time, starting to give me some predictions. Again, just hitting tab, these are appearing. Multi-word prediction there. And on this last attempt, it's giving me that full sentence prediction. And that's sort of how it learns from you over time. You can see from this the massive application for those with physical disabilities, being able to predict whole sentences, being able to get more and more accurate the more and more you actually engage and use your Lightkey. It doesn't just have to learn this way. It's got a number of cheats or shortcuts inbuilt, as it were. And that's what we have is called categories. And these are 60 plus specialist dictionaries, expansive dictionaries within specific subject or categories. So if I actually open up my dashboard, don't pay any attention to it right now because I'm going to come back to this in a bit more detail later on. If we come to the side, down to prediction profile, this is where you'll find all 80 plus languages. Along the top, we have categories. So we've got, say, technology, industry, business, finance, law, government, academic, and you just have to find whichever subjects or topics are relevant to you. Click them on. You can have one, you can have as many as you like activated. And it's just going to learn that very specific terminology for your subject, all that vocabulary that's relevant to you. I think this is very important in the early stages where Lightkey hasn't learnt who you are as a writer yet. So you come in here, activate whatever you're studying or not. I know a lot of people who do actually activate them and deactivate them based on what they're working with. So if they're going to a geography class, turn on geography, turn it off afterwards. You can really sort of tinker as much as you like. Now, Lightkey again is a smart system. It learns from you. So let's say you're a student of engineering and you start writing some engineering terminology. Lightkey's going to say, oh, this person's probably working with engineering, and will automatically activate those relevant dictionaries or relevant categories for you. You can also take this a big step further, where you can personalize its experience to you by uploading your own information, your own course syllabus, previous assignments you've worked with, and learn that very specific language, learn your writing style a lot quicker. You do this by creating a custom category. You can either do this by clicking in this section, importing a single file or an entire folder. You can pull the whole course syllabus in here if you like. Or because we want to remove as many steps as possible, you can just drag any document directly into the Lightkey interface and it will learn it. That's quite useful for, again, those with physical disabilities. Removing as many steps is quite an important thing to do. The document I've just uploaded has 18 sentences, 228 unique words for Lightkey to learn. You can give it a name. I know a lot of people who break this down into individual subjects, individual tasks. So you can come in here, activate, deactivate as necessary. You've got 3 options below. Learn individual words. Could be used for those word lists, for instance. Learn that individual terminology, that vocabulary. Learn full sentences. It's going to be able to give those full sentence predictions. Massively beneficial, again, for those with physical disabilities. Save as many keys as possible. We'll learn common phrases, and that will take the most recurringly used phrases, those most commonly used within that document, and learn that terminology. You hit import as new category, and it just uploads here. It will just update down in that bottom right hand corner. I think while it's doing that, we'll just check here. Oh, there's a question that's come in about can Lightkey be used in exams? That's a very interesting question. We have looked into this before. In theory, the answer is yes. I don't know anyone who has used Lightkey specifically within exam, but text prediction is usable within an exam space. I've got some documentation about it. I can provide to anyone afterwards if that would work. But Lightkey, I don't know if anyone specifically used it. Amazing. So the document that I've just uploaded is about a chap. His name is Mikel de Montague, and he actually coined the term essays. But the reason I've chosen this document is because his name is very unique. It's not going to be in any of my categories or dictionaries. He's just not going to know who this person is. That's quite a lot of keys for someone with a physical disability to write. Imagine being dyslexic, trying to write that. Quite a difficult name to write as well. Maybe you have ADHD, distractibility difficulties, can't be going back, Googling, copy and pasting a million times. But by uploading this directly into my Lightkey, it has now learnt his name and will be able to give those predictions. I come back to my original document here. Right, Mikel de Montague. Usually goes a little bit earlier than that. Again, we just hit tab to accept that. Write it one more time. You can see it's giving a little bit earlier there as well. So each time I write this, it's going to predict this a lot quicker. So if I was writing an essay about this gentleman, it's going to be able to predict, save me a massive amount of keystrokes, a massive energy, cognitive energy when writing. It doesn't just have to be within a Word document. Personally, I use my Lightkey for work every single day. It saves me a tremendous amount of time. I actually upload my email templates directly within my Lightkey. Uh, if you do ever request a license for Lightkey from me, I have been cheating because I use this all the time. If I open up my Google, you can see I've got an email here. It uses a Chrome extension within Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Doesn't need an internet connection to work in general as well, just to let you know. As you can see, it's addressed to myself, fills in automatically the time of day as well as the recipient. Well, thank you for requesting a license for Lightkey. I just wanted to show you there that it can give those full sentence predictions very, very easily. You can see the massive application. I had to hit 7 or 8 keys. It's giving me those full sentence predictions. So if you had a physical disability where every key can be quite laborious, quite painful in many cases, this can save a lot of energy when writing. I'm just going to come back to my document here. Now, Lightkey does work across 80 plus different languages. So if I open up my dashboard again, come to prediction profile, as you can see, we've got all 80 plus different languages, including Welsh, Irish, and Scottish Gaelic. If you have anyone around there here today, you just find whichever language is relevant and activate it. There's a lot of students who speak English as an additional language or speak multiple languages could find this beneficial. Lightkey is a smart system, as I've said before. So if you are someone who speaks multiple languages, just have them both activated and you switch in between two. So 1 minute you're speaking English, the next minute you're speaking Spanish. Lightkey's going to say that person speaks Spanish and English simultaneously, and it will switch the two. But personally, I don't speak that much Spanish, so I do have to change the keyboard down here just for this example. Come back to my document, happens instantaneously. A bit delayed on that. But as you can see, it'll give those text predictions and it will give those spelling and grammar corrections. So everything you've seen, it works exactly the same across all 80 plus different languages. Again, we just hit tab to accept or reject those as necessary. I'll just change those back. So, last section before I navigate you around the dashboard itself is visual impairment. So we did a lot of work with the Thomas Pocklington Trust to develop Lightkey for those with visual impairment. So Lightkey itself is screen reader enabled, JAWS, Windows Narrator, and NVIDIA, to name a few. So it's very easy to navigate. But you'll also notice up here a tab marked Accessibility Settings. If I click this option, it's going to bring us to this page. Now, Lightkey, when you first install it, it's going to ask you a series of questions, a run wizard, and it will personalize this automatically for your experience. But you can always come in here and see what that one is. It's going to tell you what these top two are. They're quite important, although not to do with visual impairment. Optimized prediction experience for people with dexterity or physical typing difficulties. The idea behind this is to save as many keystrokes as possible for those with physical disabilities or chronic pain, for instance. This can lead to less accurate predictions in the beginning, but as you say, if you're uploading, activating categories, engaging with Lightkey, doesn't last for very long, it just saves as many keystrokes as possible. Optimized prediction experience for people with dyslexia or other learning difficulties. This serves a multitude of different purposes. But the question I get asked all the time, and some of you are probably thinking, Lightkey learns from me, learns my vocabulary, it learns my jargon, my writing style. Does that in theory mean it can learn my mistakes? And the short answer is yes. You would have to work very, very hard for it to learn your mistakes. But someone who has dyslexia and writes a word incorrectly multiple times, I do quite a lot of times, it could in theory learn that as specific vocabulary. This increases that threshold before that happens. It does also have a few other features, but I think that's the most important part of it. Below this, we have different color themes. So we have a default theme, which works quite discreetly in the background. Not everyone wants to be loudly saying they're using assistive technology, so I think that's quite a nice little option there. But there's also the high contrast theme. I have dyslexia myself, and this helps me focus on where I'm working. However, this was developed for users with low vision. Next to this, we have the orange, blue, and green theme, and this was developed for users with color blindness to ease the strain on their eyes as well. Lastly, we have read aloud, and as the name suggests, that will read aloud the predictions and that will read out the corrections. It's not going to go back and read the whole paragraph, it's just going to read the predictions and the corrections. We set predictions as male, corrections as female. We found it very important to easily identify a prediction being read as opposed to a correction. Voice speed is fully adjustable. We also found those with visual impairment like to listen to it very, very fast, so it's fully adjustable voice speed. So you just tab that on, then you come back to your document and just start writing.
Spaceship went.
And it will just read aloud those predictions and it will read aloud those corrections as you're writing. If I just come back up to my dashboard here again, you will see this quick settings tab. If I hit these three dots next to it, this is localized for various different languages as well. So it's easy to adjust your settings, your dashboard within Lightkey. We've got English, we've got Welsh, probably the two most relevant here. Oh, no, I do not want to restart my console center. It's going to click there. But if you also come into this quick settings tab, you can navigate through, activate. Everything is highly customizable within Lightkey, so text predictions. You can also back up your data here as well, store your data. I won't go through much into that, but if you do want a one-to-one on Lightkey at some point in the future, happy to explore that a bit more. This is my dashboard. As you can see, I've actually saved 31 hours. I've asked my boss for multiple days off, and multiple times they keep saying no to me. So I'm going to try and save up for a whole week off, and then see if the boss will give me a day off for that. But you can see in the real world terms, it saves me a massive amount of time when writing, a lot of cognitive energy when working. 31 hours saved by using Lightkey is, I think it's incredible personally. You can see where I've been using it, you can see how I've been using it, and you can see how it's helped me over time. Could also be useful for you as educators. You obviously want to know the student is actually using the technology and it's beneficial for them, because if they've bought Lightkey, they're not using it, then honestly it's not worth them having it. But they've got it, saving them a lot of time. You can see directly on their computer, it's helping them. Up here you have the master switches. This is quite important as well, because not everyone wants text predictions. Sometimes they just want a spelling and grammar correction software. So you can deactivate text predictions, or maybe you don't want the spelling and grammar correction software because you have another software for that. You can turn that off and just have text predictions. So everything, again, customizable based on your specific needs. Below this, we have sound assistance. And I've turned mine off at the time being, but this was actually developed for those keyboard watchers who are not looking at their screen, they're looking at their keyboard while they type. They're missing predictions and they're missing corrections. So it just makes a little bell sound, just to remind you to pop your head up and see those corrections and predictions you might be missing. The very last thing I'll show you here is if we come to productivity metrics. Again, you can see how I've been using my Lightkey over time. Maybe I can use this to even plan a study schedule. Maybe there's certain days or weeks I'm more effective than other days. Or maybe I'm just really interested in my analytics. Or of course that example of making sure the user is actually using the assistive technology that you've paid for. And it's beneficial, of course. But that is Lightkey, an incredibly simple piece of assistive technology. It learns from you, saves a lot of energy for those with dyslexia and obviously physical disabilities. Anyone have any questions?
Thanks, James. That was really good. We've got a question from Jack. Is it a standalone license that sits on a PC, or can it be moved to multiple?
So depends on the license itself. If you were to buy for a single user, it's downloadable only on one device. You buy one Lightkey for one device. Obviously, if that device breaks, this is usually what happens, and you move to another device, we'll just reset it for the duration of your license as well, so you don't need to worry about that. But of course, you can buy multiple devices as well. So there's also site license pricing for larger educational institutions where you can use it across all sorts of devices.
Right, and a kind of linked question to that: does it work across roaming profiles? I think is it virtualization? Yeah,
So, say multiple people use the same computer, that'll be
I,
sort of how I remember.
yeah. So I suppose from a user's perspective, they might be in one classroom in the morning and then one classroom on the afternoon. Kind of can that follow them around?
Unfortunately, not. So it would be downloadable onto one computer and it would learn and have all that because the information is only stored locally, so it's not going out to a cloud, so you wouldn't be able to sort of bring it around. You could, of course, back up your data, send it across to your new device, but to be honest, that sounds like it could potentially be a few steps.
Okay, great. Thanks, James. Mike's asked, can it be used on iPads?
Unfortunately, it's a Windows only solution there, so it wouldn't be on iPads.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions at all? Um, my own question was just going to be because I've had a recent question from some Welsh colleges because they teach a lot with kind of Welsh and English in parallel. Are there any plans to expand the languages available at all?
So it's really, really good in Welsh. A lot of the
Oh,
Welsh universities they use it and they absolutely love it. I get them to check. So this Welsh localization setting up here, we did that with with a Welsh university. It's really, really good at text prediction and spelling and grammar corrections. Apparently, I don't speak Welsh. Uh, the only thing is the read aloud doesn't work in Welsh at the moment. But I think that's a whole text to speech with Welsh is it's not quite there yet in general.
okay, great. Thanks. That's really good. I'll pass that on. Okay. Any other questions at all? Um, do you have kind of license pricing information and that side of things at all, James, that people can access?
Yes. So, I mean, there's a free download on the website that gives you 1,000 keystrokes a month if you want to try it out. Although I'm happy to send you a proper demonstration of this, like the AT edition, if you need. In terms of pricing, you're looking, we work through a network of resellers, £180 excluding VAT,
Great, thank you.
and that's for 5 years.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Okay, if we don't have any further questions, then I think I'll wrap it up there. Um, okay, I'll just share my screen. So yeah, thank you so much, James. That was really useful. And if there's any other resources that you think would be useful, feel free to send them on to me and I'll send them on if you've got any kind of, if there's a YouTube playlist or whatever else you think is good, then I'll make sure that that makes it to all those that have registered. So thank you everyone for attending as well. As always, if you've got any recommendations or things that you'd like us to have as a webinar, then email us techability@natspec.org.uk. You can catch us on X or as it used to be Twitter at tech_ability1. And remember to sign up to our newsletter as well, which is where you'll hear about all the webinars, conference, all the resources and everything else. Thank you. And thanks again, James.